Andrew Crystal with you. This is Sirius XM, Channel 167. You're listening to Crystal Nation. My next guest is a courtroom drama himself. Calvin Barry is one of the most effective and colorful criminal lawyers in the country. He has defended superstars like Naomi Campbell, Woody Harrelson, Dave Maggott, football star, and lives to tell the tale. He has chosen this intro song, The Doors, because I think that he has sometimes an apocalyptic vision, although he hides his poker face well and usually comes out on top for his clients. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not the end, it's only the beginning. Calvin Barry.
Hey, how you doing?
Does Jim Morrison ever start singing this song? This is the longest friggin' intro ever.
It's a smell of napalm in the morning.
Why this song for you, Calvin?
Well, I just always liked Jim Morrison and his music, and 30 years later, I'm 56, Andrew, so I'm kind of locked in the 70s, and one time, yeah, so...
I noticed you were wearing that Keep On Truckin' t-shirt.
Yeah,
I just made that up.
I'm from Thunder Bay, Ontario, where all they do is truck and drink. So.
The Hoido.
The Hoido. Finlandia.
Yes, it's a great restaurant, by the way, in Thunder Bay.
No, very nice.
Which I call lovingly Thundering Jesus.
Yep, and I think you know Sharon Robert?
No.
Okay, she's from Thunder Bay. But Thunder Bay has Paul Schaefer.
Yes, he does. Yes,
Yep.
yes.
And Bobby Curtola for older people. Bobby Curtola was a dear friend of mine.
Passed away, right?
It was terrible. He was just a gentleman.
I went for lunch with him a couple years ago. Calvin Barry, I wanted to bring you on because Bruce MacArthur, everybody's favorite serial killer, is in the news.
Yes.
And we don't have any serial killers in this country. We had Paul Bernardo.
Clifford Olson.
Picton,
Picton
the pig farmer,
Yeah.
yep. Robert Picton.
His lawyer was from Thunder Bay, Ontario, actually, way back, but he's a prominent defense counsel.
But Toronto hasn't had many serial killers.
No, you're right, Bernardo, yeah. And some people that kind of did a one-off of 2 or 3 people. There was one guy that killed 3 people in the Church and Wellesley area and shot them about 15 years ago. Eddie Greenspan was a lawyer who I did many cases with. He was a formidable opponent, but a gentleman. He passed away way too young. I was a Crown attorney and did many cases with him. But yeah, you're right. It's the American thing. You see,
so what do you do when you're a criminal lawyer, Calvin Barry? Because Bruce MacArthur could very well and still may very well call you.
Yep.
Right?
Well, it's tough. I mean, I have a different perspective because my practice is a lot of DUIs, impaired over 80, and for what it's worth, I call it ordinary people crime. For example, when I have a client come in, they say, why do you do DUIs and impaired over 80s? As a Crown attorney, it was very boring. It was very technical, and it was like watching paint dry. As a prosecutor, I like doing high-profile murders and robberies and organized crime. I was a prosecutor for bikers. I specialized in prosecuting the Hells Angels, and back then it was the Banditos and the Satan's Choice. And I was a wiretap agent. I was a search warrant expert on constitutional law. I was kind of like a DA for the biker enforcement unit called BO, and with the OPP, Donnie Bell, who's now a staff superintendent with the OPP.
It's a lot of pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, I was, and
that's tough on you, right?
And it's a thankless job because whether you work 30 hours as a prosecutor or 70 hours like I did, you get the same paycheck.
What was your source of your ambition then? You're a smart guy.
When I was 16, I was in a parking lot, and a guy named Frank Cody, who was a big bully, but he took care of me, and he was about, I don't know, he was 16, he was like 220 pounds, and he was ripped, and he was a lifeguard. Now he's a model actor in Malibu. He's on his 4th wife, of course. He had a lot of sugar mummies down there, divorced 3 times, so he's a real pro, and he was on a cover of Playgirl in 1995 in Thunder Bay. Anyways, he got in a pushing match with this other young offender, and I was a witness, and we went to court, and he got a young offender slap on the hand, as we call it Juvenile Delinquents Act. Now it's called the Youth Criminal Justice Act in Canada. And anyways, so we go to court, and I was 16. In grade 8, I had a 90% average. In grade 9, it dropped down to 70, and I was too cool for my school. That's when Grease came out, and we had leather jackets, and we used to wear T-shirts in the winter and drive around, and I got our license at 16 and date girls, and I started to drink, and smoke some pot, and Anyways, grade 10, 65, grade 11, 58. I went to the court that day, and I saw the judge, and he was a bald guy, and he looked like he was bummed out, and he was cantankerous, and he was rude, and he was higher up than everybody. And I said, I don't want to be a judge. I saw the defense lawyer, and he was all slick and arrogant, walking around, and I said, hi, sir, and he just ignored me, and then I saw the Crown, and the Crown attorney was the DA. The Crown attorney was, he had a bunch of cops around him, and he had an exhibit bag, and he was putting some knives in the exhibit bag from a case from before. And I walked up to him, and he was so nice, and he said, yeah, I'm a Crown attorney. I like it. I don't make as much as defense lawyers, but it's great. And right there, as funny as it sounds, I went back home, and my dad was in his work boots, and he had his couple of shots of his Jack Daniels, true story, and my mom was there, and my mother was an electrician's wife. My mother was a fisherman. My father was a fisherman's friend and all that. And we sat there. I was 16. I said, I'm going to be a Crown attorney. And my dad started laughing and passed me the potatoes. He goes, all right, son, not with marks like that. You're going to end up at the paper mill, and that's all right. I'll always take care of you. But you're moving out because if you're not going to university, and with marks like that, you're not, I'm going to kick you out. Well, that scared the S out of me. In addition, grade 12, 84 average. Grade 13, 88 average. First year university, 90 average. Second year university, about 91. Some guy beat me, an Asian gentleman. I had the highest mark in business of commerce. Why business of commerce? Because I didn't think I'd get in law school, because where I come from, stupid does and stupid says, and I didn't think I was going to get in, so I wanted to have a backdrop instead of taking astronomy for non-astronomers or philosophy or something, which was bird
So what do you say to kids today, Calvin, that are hearing you, or fathers that want to motivate their kids? Because, you did something. It's very difficult to do something outside that the family hasn't done, that they gave you support and encouragement and a boot, but it's not easy to break the create success orientation, right?
Yeah, where I come from, it's 60% Ojibwe. I saw a lot of drinking. I saw all my friends to this day from Thunder Bay. They got 1 or 2 DUI convictions. They got a couple.
It's the culture. It's the culture. So what do you say to young kids, Calvin Barry?
Well, I say, be all that you can be. Don't shoot for mediocrity. Go for it, because all you're going to do is, if you want to get 10 out of 10 and you're shooting for a 4, you're not going to get 10. But if you shoot for a 12, you might get 10. Always be ambitious. Always try to win. Try to learn more. Try to educate. Try to be nice to everybody. Study and find your spot. I became a prosecutor at 25. I was the youngest prosecutor in Ontario, and I didn't turn back. And the reason why I like being a Crown attorney so much is I felt like I was doing something good, something just, something right on behalf of complainants. I was pursuing justice. I saw a lot of things, and I tell people, find a job that you would do for free.
Calvin Barry, Woody Harrelson, tell us about him.
So he was doing a movie, and he came to see me, because a guy named El Poopy, his wife was a makeup hair person to the stars. And I was at a 50th birthday party for Pat DiDonato, who's the godfather of my boy, owns Liberty Grand, and blah, blah, blah. And I act for all their bars for liquor license stuff. Anywho, I went there, and she goes, would you like to see a friend of mine? He's an actor. He's got a legal issue. And I go, no, I'm at this party, and I'm going to stay for 2 more hours. And she goes, well, it's Woody Harrelson. I go, let me look at my calendar. And I put my bare hand in my face, and I said, yeah, let's go right now. And I met him. He didn't get in trouble or nothing. Somebody was trying to do a little bit of scam on him. And it
was an Ontario problem.
Yeah, he was in Toronto, yeah. And so then Woody, I'll never forget this. I met him, and he goes, do you smoke? I go, no. And I thought he was going to pull some Belvederes. He pulled a big joint, and he smoked it right on the set. And he goes, you look like a guy that would smoke pot, but that's okay.
Did you look after his legal issue?
Yeah, and we became friends. And then the funny story, 10 years later, Andrew, I was at a film festival party in Yorkville, and I was trying to make moves on these 2 models, and they were ignoring me, and they're looking over my shoulder for the stars. And Woody Harrelson comes in, he goes, Calvin, what the F, how you doing, bro? He gave me a big hug, and the girl started talking to me.
Naomi Campbell. Naomi Campbell
was 6'3". I was about 5'8.5". She took a mug and she hit it against her executive assistant's head at the Four Seasons. I was a Crown attorney, and she ended up pleading guilty, absolute discharge, got some anger management. She got in 2 tiffs before, as you probably know, and 2 tiffs after. I had DAs calling me from LA and England after that to tell me, to get my file and about the case about rough and tumble Naomi Campbell. She said it to somebody in the hallway that she doesn't get out of bed for less than $50,000 a day, and I Googled her. Back then, Google just came out, and she was right.
Because that's like me. I don't get out of bed without at least $5.
Yeah, I don't get out of bed
I
unless
need $5.
I don't get out of bed unless someone has a case of beer. Like, so, but my point being is that she was famous, and the courtroom was packed. And I was on TV all over the world because of Naomi Campbell, not me. She got an absolute discharge. Brian Greenspan, who's Justin Bieber's lawyer, and other celebrities, he was a defense lawyer. At the end of the case, she was on what's the book, Hugh Hefner, Playboy. She was in Playboy. She was pouring milk on her ebony body.
I often do that, but that's by mistake for me.
Exactly. So I went and got a Playboy magazine. I gave it to Brian Greenspan, and I said, "Can you get your client to sign this for me? To Calvin, love Naomi." He goes up to her and comes back. He goes, "Do you want the bad news or the bad news?" And I go, "What's up, Brian?" "Well, she thinks she called you a short troll, and she told me to unequivocally go F yourself." And he handed it back, and he goes, "I can sign it." I go, "No, I'm fine." I took my magazine. That was it. That's a true story.
30 seconds. Bruce McArthur, the serial killer. We started with that. We'll close with that. Would it be difficult to defend this guy? It's impossible, right?
Well,
everybody deserves a defense, even monsters.
Yeah, 100%. And I prosecuted about 40 murders. I've defended about 6. It's a sad case all around. It's very politically charged, but everybody, should be presumed innocent. It's an allegation, and it's a very sad case on both sides. And I just hope that justice prevails and it goes through the system, and that he gets a fair trial, and the deceased family and the public get a fair trial too. That's what it's all about in Canada.
Thanks so much, Calvin Barry. Great job. How do people reach you?
416-56-CROWN, because I used to be a Crown, and some cops that were in the wiretap room got me that phone number. I kept it, 416-562-7696. And Andrew, I'm going to fight that speeding ticket for you for free because you're a good man.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, I wasn't wearing pants. It's kind of complicated. Back with more here on Crystal Nation.